Welcome to Requiro. Today we are going to be talking about weak and strong passports and people's struggles with basically traveling around the world with a weak passport. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I don't see many people talk about this. I just want to talk about this to spread the word around about it and try to get more people with a strong passport like me to understand and sympathize with people who don't have a strong passport. Now, if you guys are curious why I'm in a different location, I'm pet sitting at the moment. If you guys watch my other channel, it's like a mixture between a blog channel and crafting channel and whatever else I like to do type of channel. You would have known I do dog sitting and stuff. So that's why the background's a little bit different. I love their wallpaper. Look how pretty it is. It's gorgeous. I love their wallpaper. And also, I do apologize if this video comes out a lot later than expected. I just had a lot of things to do this week in my own personal life, and I'm absolutely done with it. I know it's too soon in the video to swear, but who cares? I'm absolutely done with life this week. Also, it's really goddamn cold. Problem with rich people houses, it's really cold. So if you magically see me wear my puffer jacket, that's why. Also, this is my second cup of coffee today. I am so goddamn tired from this week and life. That's it. I'm just so tired. And also, you might have seen that in my community tab or any of my other social medias, me saying this video will come out a little bit later than expected. Hopefully I can crunch out editing this video over the next 2 days and I'll get it up for you guys this week. It was not intentional to be filmed this late in the week. It's currently Friday at the moment when I'm filming this. I'm meant to have this video up by now. And if there's anything I got wrong or anything like that, please let me know in the comments down below. I am one person working on all these videos, so I will get things wrong. So please let me know and I'll bring it up in my next video, or I'll pin it in the comments down below. And if you guys want to check out all the sources I used in this week's video, that will be on this week's episode on the website if you guys want to check it out. Anyway, let's get into the video. I came across this on Instagram, someone explaining having a weak passport and the struggles with it, and I was quite surprised by that. I didn't know there's weak and strong passports. I thought all passports were equal, just being official identity travel documents that everyone has. I thought they were all equal, driver's licenses, but I was wrong. Again, like I said, I came across this on Instagram with someone talking about it, and I'll put the video up on screen for you guys of when I literally first heard about this, so I'll pop it up on screen for you guys.
People with passport privilege have no idea what the rest of the world has to go through to get visas and to travel.
I gotta take the retainer out for this. I have a story. So I'm British passport. I knew it was a powerful passport, but I didn't know what that actually meant until I moved here to Dubai. Now in the UK, I was surrounded by predominantly British passport holders, European passport holders, and Australian passport holders. All very powerful passports. People were travelling left, right and centre. Now moving here to Dubai, I'm surrounded by people with Indian passports, Lebanese passports, you name it, or Filipino passports. Passports that aren't as powerful as my British passports. And I have learnt so much. So, story time of one of my colleagues. So him and his wife are Lebanese, and they wanted to go to the Schengen area in Europe. So Prague, Budapest, that sort of section. And this is the process they have to go through. To apply for the visa, they don't know if they're going to get the visa, just to apply, they have to send in bank statements, proof of employment, pay slips. They also have to buy their flights, so they have to pay for the most expensive flights, which are cancelable in case they don't get their visa. They have to buy their hotel, and again, it has to be the most expensive rate because it has to be cancelable in case they don't get their visa. They then applied for the Schengen visa with all of this paperwork through a lawyer that they had to pay for. And they also had to pay for the visa application itself. And then the application was denied because whoever was processing it thought that him and his wife, who have lived in the UAE for 6 years, working professionals, earning absolute shit ton of money.
So that was the video I came across when I first discovered about like basically people with different types of passports get treated differently wherever they travel around the world. And surprised like not many people talk about it. I think it's because I live in Australia where a lot of people have like say an Australian passport or English passport or whatever, etc. Like very like strong passports. And I'm quite surprised not many people talk about it when it affects a lot of people in the world. And I'm quite surprised about that, so I kind of want to make this video to like explain and spread the word about it, about people's struggles with having a weak passport and the power imbalance about having a different type of passport. And I kind of want to talk about like people's struggles with like dealing with a weak passport and they literally can't control it because literally where they were born in the world. So yeah, I found it quite interesting. I found it quite sad not many people talk about it. I think it's because I live in Australia where a lot of people have a strong passport that is like a Australian passport or British passport or United States passport, depends where you're from. A lot of people where I live in the world do have a strong passport compared to other countries that have a weak passport. And I want to make this video basically talking about people's struggles with having a weak passport and spread the word around it because people should know about this more. And because again, I did not know about this whatsoever, so that's why I kind of want to talk about it and spread the word about it. So hopefully I do this justice and covering everything okay to make it as understandable as possible for you guys out there. And that's not even touching on the immigration laws and all that, because different countries have different rules and depends where you come from, you might have it way more trickier traveling or like moving to a new country compared to other countries. That's a whole nother set of problems that we are not going to be tackling today, but I've seen a lot of my friends struggle with that. Again, that's a whole nother thing that's way too big to tackle into this video of immigration and all that. So again, we'll talk about that maybe one day in the future of people's struggles with that. So whole different problem. I'll explain to you here the difference between a strong and weak passport is. There's no direct definition of what having a weak and strong passport means online. I did look, trust me. So basically having a strong passport means you can travel to a lot more countries without like having visas or like any travel restrictions or anything like that, compared to having a weak passport where you have a lot more difficulty getting to other countries, like with visas and paying more money for visas and then being put on a wait list to see if your visa gets granted, and then maybe you'll be considered to be able to travel to that country, compared to someone who has a strong passport who would not need to deal with that whatsoever. The cat wants to come inside. Spilled my coffee here and pray to God it doesn't spill. Hi, Daphne. Hello. This is Daphne. Oh, it's so bad I am allergic to cats. I discovered this last year, but they're so sweet. She might join us for the video. Bye, Daphne. Okay. Please don't knock over my laptop. And basically this is all decided by the passport's human development. Hi, it's voiceover me. So I just looked this up to see if I said it correctly after running on very little sleep when I was recording this video, and I did say the full word correctly. What pops up on Google, apparently it's called Passport's Human Development Index, but on the official website where I got all the information from, it is just called the Passport Human Development. So I got it wrong, but then I also got it right at the same time, so I just kind of thought I needed to put this here. And those are the people who decide what countries have strong and weak passports. It does change every couple of years, but normally it stays the same. And I will put up the list on screen of what countries are strong passports and what countries are weak passports. One thing I do want to add here is I did get ChatGPT to help me list and put these in order for me because I generally did not want to do it. So I am going to be going by most most strongest passports, and then I'm going to go by most weakest passports. And if there's any mistakes or anything like that, please let me know in the comments down below. ChatGPT did it. I just generally did not want to do it manually, okay? It's a good tool if you want it to do things. I did it in my first Luigi Mangione video, where I got it to like help me with a transcript listing who was talking in like a YouTube video when I got a transcript from a YouTube video, like Thomas Dickey or Reporter was talking. Again, that's when I used it. It's a good tool for that when I generally just don't want to do it manually. So let me know if there's any mistakes or anything like that in this part of the video, and I do apologize if there's any mistakes. ChatGPT did it, okay? So I'll put up on screen for you guys the countries that had the most strong passports. So I'll put up on screen for you guys.
1. Iceland, 2. Switzerland, 3. Norway, 4. Denmark, 5. Germany, 5. Sweden, 7. Australia, 8. Netherlands, 8. Hong Kong, 10. Belgium, 11. Ireland, 12. Finland, 13. Singapore, 14. United Kingdom, 15. United Arab Emirates, 16. Canada, 17. Liechtenstein, 18. United States, 19. New Zealand, 20. Korea, Republic of 21. Slovenia, 22. Austria, 23. Japan, 24. Malta, 25. Luxembourg, 26. France, 27. Israel, 28. Spain, 29. Czechia, 30. San Marino, 31. Italy, 32. Cyprus, 33. Andorra, 34. Greece, 35. Poland, 36. Estonia, 37. Saudi Arabia, 38. Bahrain, 39. Lithuania, 40. Portugal, 41. Croatia, 42. Latvia, 43. Qatar, 44. Slovakia, 45. Chile, 46. Hungary, 47. Argentina, 48. Uruguay, 49. Montenegro, 50. Oman, 51. Turkey, 52. Kuwait, 53. Antigua and Barbuda, 54. Seychelles, 55. Bulgaria, 56. Romania, 57. Georgia, 58. St. Kitts and Nevis, 59. Panama, 60. Kazakhstan, 61. Brunei Darussalam, 62. Serbia, 63. Costa Rica, 64. Russian Federation, 65. Belarus, 66. Bahamas, 67. Malaysia, 68. North Macedonia, 69. Armenia, 70. Barbados, 71. Albania, 72. Trinidad and Tobago, 73. Mauritius, 74. Bosnia and Herzegovina, 75. Iran, 76. Thailand, 77. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 78. China, 79. Peru, 80. Grenada, 81. Azerbaijan, 82. Mexico, 83. Colombia, 84. Palau, 85. Brazil, 86. Moldova, Republic of 87. Ukraine, 88. Ecuador, 89. Dominican Republic, 90. Sri Lanka, 91. Guyana.
So those are the countries that have the most strong passports in the world. Now I'm going to show you guys the countries that have weak passports. So again, same thing as the first one. This is from the least weakest to the weakest passport. So I'll put it up on screen for you guys.
92. South Sudan, 93. Somalia, 94. Central African Republic, 95. Chad, 96. Mali, 97. Niger, 98. Burundi, 99. Burkina Faso, 100. Sierra Leone, 101. Yemen, 102. Madagascar, 103. Mozambique, 104. Afghanistan, 105. Ethiopia, 106. Guinea, 107. Eritrea, 108. Liberia, 109. Sudan, 110. Djibouti, 111. Guinea-Bissau.
So those are the most strongest to weakest passports in the world, and the Passport Human Development, they are the people who decide that. So this is the most current information from the Passport Human Development team. Why did I say team? The list does change every year, and there's a couple of different factors for like the different rankings for different countries for a passport to be higher or lower on that list. So this is basically the main 3 reasons for a country to be higher or lower on that list. So basically the first one is education, the second one is how wealthy the country is, and then the third reason is how long the life expectancy of the people from that country are. There are factors as well that also impact those results that aren't like officially categorizing those countries to be up higher or lower in the ranking system, but it does play a factor, like what's going on in the world at the time, and also the media reporting from those countries and all that, and a couple of other things that I can't really remember right now, but they do play a impact for a country to be higher or lower on that list, to make it easier or harder for people to travel to other countries. And honestly, I think some of those reasons for some countries to be higher or lower on the list are like kind of stupid. Like, I don't think your education matters where you can travel in the world. Like, I don't think that really matters. I think it's kind of stupid, honestly. So basically, people with a weak kind of passport, they struggle a lot more to basically travel anywhere in the world. People with a weak passport, they have to pay even more money to basically be considered to be allowed to travel to that country. It's like, oh, you can pay for this visa and we'll consider it, compared to other people that don't have a weak passport, where they can apply for a visa or just travel to that country without a visa, and they will be allowed in that country no matter what, unless they've done something wrong. Like go to jail or something. Compared to people with a weak passport, they would be like considered and then paying even more money to basically try to get to that country. And the only difference between those two people is literally where they were born in the world. And now I'm going to move on into the video where I'm going to talk more about people's struggles with dealing with having a weak passport compared to people who have a strong passport, because again, I do really want to get across of how many people struggle in the world just to like travel to a entirely different country when they have a weak passport. Because again, I want more people to know about this, because I did not know about this, and I want more people to know about this. And basically this can struggle those people with a weak passport so much. Like, it can affect them trying to travel to get back home to see their family members where they have a weak passport, but their family lives in a country where it affects people with a weak passport just to travel to that country. Or basically they can't travel for work because they have a weak passport, and that means they can't really work because they have a weak passport, and affects them to travel, and basically they have less money to basically keep applying for visas, and them basically being considered and not knowing the guarantee they can travel back home or travel for work because they have a weak passport, and being considered and paying more money on top of that. And if they can't work, they can't get more money, and that means they can't travel back home to see their family or travel for work to get more money so they can keep applying for these visas because they have a weak passport. It doesn't really make sense, and it's very like unfair, honestly. So I do really want to focus on those type of stories in this video. So these stories are from Reddit, so again, take anything I get from Reddit with a little bit of skepticism, but I do feel like it is the right place to get the most accurate human stories for these kind of things. That's why I keep going to Reddit. So again, I do really want to focus on the stories of people dealing with a weak passport, because sadly, if it does not affect a bunch of people that have power, people don't really care about it or do a thing about it whatsoever. Even if it does affect a lot of people, if it doesn't affect a lot of people that are in power, people just don't care, and honestly that's a shitty thing about society in general, and it sucks. So these are the Reddit stories. I have about 9 here for you guys, because again, I'm trying to find as many stories for you guys to like get different perspectives of people with dealing with a weak passport. So I'll put them up on screen for you guys.
Solo traveling with a weak passport feels like carrying a constant burden every time I want to go somewhere. It's like an endless test. Tons of paperwork, insane visa fees, long waiting times, and zero guarantee I'll even get approved. I love my country, but carrying a weak passport is just not it. It gets worse because I'm a freelancer. No long-term labor contract equals extra suspicious. So I have to dig up contracts from my clients. I work with fintech companies in the US like Hood, Sophie, WTF, etc. I have to screenshot the signed contracts with their names on it, get these companies to verify my identity, show bank statements matching the payments, highlight every detail so the embassy doesn't think I'm faking it. And sometimes if I'm traveling with my partner or anyone else in my family or my friends, more paperwork, photos together, proof of relationship, all that, and more savings. Because apparently if you don't have $10,000 plus sitting around, they won't believe you're coming back home. Meanwhile, after all that work and money spent, there's still a chance they'll just say no. No refund, just a rejection stamp. I know why it's like this. There are so many people from poorer countries like mine who overstay or try to live illegally in richer countries. It happens all the time, so we get blacklisted. But it's depressing when you realize there's basically zero hope that your passport ranking will ever improve. The idea of booking a last-minute trip is a privilege we don't have. Imagine wanting to go somewhere next week and you have to prove 1001 things about your life, your job, your savings, your relationship, just to see if you might get approved. It's crazy to me that someone from a developed country can just book a flight and go pretty much wherever they want at a moment's notice. If I want to travel somewhere, which is usually for work conferences, I basically need to start planning at least 3 months in advance. It's so incredibly stressful. Every time I go for a visa interview, I need to basically print and take every documented piece of information about me. I am not even exaggerating. And then the crushing stress of waiting for approval/denial. It just seems so unfair. But hey, it is what it is. I'm still grateful that I can afford to travel. And I also wanted to add this. When I was trying to travel to Germany, I found out that you can apply for a visa interview online on Sundays at 10 a.m. for exactly 1 minute. Like, you have 60 seconds in one whole week to fill out the application form and pay a fee by card while hundreds of others are trying to do the same thing for the exact same few spots at the same time. It's practically impossible. What pisses me off is those countries charge so much just for visa applications, with no guarantee you'll even get it. Something like $200 for a US visa, £100 for UK. They're making a mint out of these applications, while there are people from developed countries traveling to poor countries with barely any money. I know this is rare, but I've seen stories of influencers begging from the citizens there, who most likely make peanuts. Yup, I feel you. Reading posts here from first worlders who are able to exercise maximum freedom and flexibility when they travel is saddening. If I was to plan long-term travel, I'd have to meticulously iron out every detail of every country I'm going to and either stick to easy or visa-free countries, otherwise figure out how to obtain visas at every necessary point. It's exhausting just thinking about it, and then having to pay and submit documents for approval for the privilege of spending my hard-earned money in these countries. You're lucky if they let you out of the Philippines in the first place. My Filipino girlfriend got held up at passport control for questioning and they made us miss our flight on purpose. First flight I ever missed. They were in no rush to proceed with questioning and just made us wait for over an hour until the boarding was over. Only then they asked few questions, made me sign some sponsored doc and let us through. Sucks to have a weak passport event last week. I posted here what was the highlight of my PhD career, getting my paper accepted at the biggest conference in my field. The conference is in about 2 weeks from now. I have arranged the travel grants, bought the tickets, the whole shebang. I have an Indian passport and cannot travel to Spain, the conference venue, without a prior visa. It has been over 30 days since I applied for a visa and haven't heard a peep. According to the embassy, the expected time of decision for the visa permit was supposed to be 15 days. but here I am. It's the same situation with my co-author, my supervisor. So we are both waiting, hoping that we don't have to withdraw our paper. This was supposed to be my first publication as a first author, and now that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. I do have enough work to get a couple of journal papers out and finish my thesis. But if I want to finish my thesis according to the schedule I have decided, I will have to either forego this conference or not include it in my thesis and publish it after the fact, which I really didn't want to do. I was very excited about having this work be a part of my thesis while also being included in the best conference in its field. Well, it is what it is. I'm sorry if this seems like a senseless rambling. I just needed to get this out. Mug. It's been a real problem. I have to plan everything out way in advance. I meet so many travelers that make plans as they go along, and I have to tell them that I'd love to tag along, but can't. Some stories. I studied abroad in England during college, and the process to get a student visa was just a hassle. I had to mail in documents, take an English proficiency test, even though I was in college in America, get a ride to some center 45 minutes away to get my fingerprints scanned, etc. Then while I was in the UK, some of the people I met went on lots of impromptu trips to European cities. I couldn't. I'd have needed to organize visas, paperwork, proof of hotels, etc. After a while I said fuck it and went to Scotland instead. Later I did get to see a bit of Europe, but after a lot of organising/getting paperwork/trips to the consulate in London, this problem also resurfaced in Asia. I was living in Thailand for several months, and I really wanted to visit Cambodia and Vietnam etc. And I was super pumped about it. BC, the visa process looked relatively simple. Then I realised that I wouldn't be let back into Thailand, and I'd need a new visa for Thailand. Only I couldn't apply for a Thai visa from any of its neighbouring countries, so I'd need to fly back home and reapply, which was much more expensive than a simple Vietnam-Thailand flight would be. Also at this point I was sick of paperwork and planning. I have planned for a week/10-day trip to London and had my visa rejected for nonsense reasons. Check post history. Around $500 spent on flight tickets and application fees went to the trash. This happened a week ago and I am still bitter over what happened. The joys of having a weak passport. Oh Lord, don't get me started. I waited in so many visa lines, many of which were, you better show up at 4 a.m, because they closed the line at 6, and only the first 100 get to go in the consulate, to submitting everything short of my DNA, my parents' house deed. Translated, proof that taxes were paid on said house. Translated, proof I'm a student who has recently passed an exam. Translated, photos in particular format that would regularly get rejected because photographers can't read spec sheets or something. To rejections because, well, no really any explanation. In my 20s I looked longingly at co-workers and grad school friends who'd up and move on a whim because there was a cheap ticket to some place. And don't let me get started on Shenzhen. I got so proficient at completing the application, and then had to justify why am I entering NL when my visa was issued at B consulate etc. And then the US. I think someone at Depth of State has a collection of my visa photos throughout the years.
Those are the Reddit stories I came across with dealing with having a weak passport. Honestly, I don't know why. I feel like Reddit is like the best place to go for like really specific questions you have about the world. It's like, to me, Reddit kind of feels like a older sibling that has all the answers to your really specific questions about life. That's my opinion about Reddit at the moment. And I noticed this a couple of times when I was in those Reddit threads of people talking about dealing with a weak passport. I saw people that did not have a weak passport going, wow, we had no idea about this. Because again, I'm from a country where I don't have a weak passport. So I have a Australian passport for my passport, so I don't have it with me. Just imagine I'm holding my passport here. And I have a Australian passport, so it's classified as a strong passport, so I don't have that much difficulty traveling around the world compared to other people in the world that are born somewhere else that don't have a strong passport. I am glad I did come across some stories on there where people deal with having a partner that has a weak passport compared to them who don't have a weak passport, and they have to deal and watch the struggles from their partner dealing with trying to travel to other countries. So I'm glad I found those stories as well. And with this kind of stuff, it affects so many people in so many different ways. Again, like I said earlier in the video, it can affect their work, it can affect them seeing their own family members. They could be in a interracial couple where one member has a strong passport and then the other member of the family has a weak passport, and it would basically have them struggle to get back home to see their loved ones. And again, this kind of stuff is bluntly unfair because literally they did not choose where they could be born in the world. We all never did. And it bluntly isn't fair where one country gets more benefits than another country literally because they're on a stupid list. And I think all passports should be equal, honestly. Sad fact is, about this entire thing, a lot of people don't bother to understand or sympathize with people with weak passports because it does not affect them whatsoever. And that's a sad fact thing about it is in society in general, where if it doesn't affect a large bunch of people that have power, it does not affect them whatsoever, so they don't bother to try to understand or sympathize or try to fix things whatsoever, compared to people that are dealing with this. Even if it is a large group of people, it does not affect powerful people, and they don't care or bother to fix things. And that's kind of a sad thing about society as a whole, instead of like not just the passport situation. It's about a lot of other things as well, and that kind of a shitty thing I've noticed in the world. Not recently, just I've noticed it for a while, and it sucks. It makes me sad. I can't do a thing about it, and it makes me sad. Yeah, I see my friends struggle with this kind of stuff, and it makes me sad that I can't do a thing about it to help them, even if I wish I could. And one thing I don't understand is, like, why do people with weak passports, they have to bleed dry to basically be considered to be allowed to enter a certain country, compared to other countries where they can just walk in, no problems whatsoever, compared to other countries. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to make this video. I hope I did my best covering this topic with people dealing with having a weak passport compared to a strong passport. I did my best with the information I could find about this type of thing. Again, it's not really covered that much here in Australia where I live, or at least the sources I could find about it. I could not find that many on this type of topic, but people do deal with this on a day-to-day basis that I did really want to cover. So hopefully I did this topic justice, or at least made it more understandable of what people dealing with a weak passport is like. So you have a strong passport, you understand and sympathize with people with a weak passport. So hopefully I did this justice, hopefully. So I hope you guys learned something in this video. Hope you guys understand and hopefully sympathize with more people out there with like a weak passport compared to you, or even people that have a weak passport and you guys feel heard, hopefully, in this video. Again, I did just want to make this video to spread the word around about this type of topic, because again, I don't see many people talk about this that often compared to people that have a weak passport. They do talk about it because they're dealing with it on a day-to-day basis compared to people who don't. Like, I don't know how this problem will be fixed. Maybe someone out there who has power, who actually has sympathy towards people, will maybe try to attempt to fix this problem, but I doubt that's gonna happen anytime soon or ever, because, you know, some rich people don't like other people. Let me know about your struggles with dealing with a weak passport. I would love to know. Put it in the comments down below. Again, spread the word about this type of topic. By the way, I do apologize if I don't sound like my normal goofball self. I am insanely exhausted. I'm so tired. So tired. I'm ready for a nap, to sleep for 5 solid days, but I have to edit this. Hopefully this comes out this weekend. Hopefully it won't be too long to edit. These videos aren't that hard to edit, they just take a while. These videos are like the easiest videos to edit of all time, but they just take a while. I'm so tired. I want to sleep for so long. Anyway, thank you for watching this week's video. I upload every week, sometimes 3 times a month, depends what I'm working on. You can subscribe if you want to, it's okay if not. And if you guys want to keep up to date with the channel, you can follow the channel's social medias. That's where I post little updates of like what I'm working on during the week and all that. And if you guys want to follow me personally, all my social medias are down below as well. And if you guys have a case or topic suggestion, you can leave it in the comments down below, or if you want to leave more information, there's a little bit on the website where you can leave a case or topic suggestion that you think not many people talk about and there should be some light shedded onto it. Bye.